Hello, everyone, and welcome to In Our Community. I'm your host today, Marc Potter, and we're going to be talking about a famous Polish-American poet named Czeslaw Milosz. And I have one of his books here. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can see it a little bit. It does fade in and out. I'm going to read a little bit of the introduction of the book, and then we're going to read some of the poems. I hope to do two parts of this. We'll see. Now he passed away in 2004. Wikipedia has a lot of good information about him, but I don't want to just read off the Wikipedia page, I don't think. Let me get into the introduction here. See if I can find that. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. I want to thank KMPT Television for broadcasting our show. Okay, this is the preface of the book, and the book is his collected poems. It doesn't want to show up on the screen very well. There we go. All right. This volume was prepared at the initiative of Daniel Helper, director of Echo Press, and is the result of his proddings. It embraces poems in translation published previously in 4 volumes, selected poems, Bells in Winter, The Separate Notebooks, and Unattainable Earth, as well as new poems and many older poems translated here for the first time. The material is organized chronologically following the contents of the original volumes published in Polish. Thus, the divisions of the English volumes have been abandoned. The title Collected Poems is not intended to suggest that all my poems are included here. This preface is being written by Czeslaw Milosz himself. The title Collected Poems is not intended to suggest that all poems are included here, for many have been eliminated either because there was no satisfactory English version or because they had never been rendered into English. The number of poems taken from the particular volumes varies. All right, I think that's all we'll read of that. Now what I'm going to do is go and read some of the poems. I forgot to put I have a little timer here that I'm supposed to set to show us how much time we have. All right, let me go find the poems and poem. Okay, this says a poem on frozen time, 1933. Burning, he walks in the stream of flickering letters, clarinets, machines throbbing quicker than the heart, lobbed off heads, silk canvases, and he stops under the sky. This is called Artificer, Artificer, Artificer. And let's start over. Burning, he walks in the stream of flickering letters, clarinets, machines throbbing faster than the heart, lobbed off heads, silk canvases, and he stops under the sky and raises toward it his joined, clenched fists. Believers fall on their bellies. They suppose it is a monstrance that shines, but those are knuckles. Sharp knuckles shine that way, my friends. He cuts the glowing yellow buildings in two, breaks the walls into motley halves. Pensive, he looks at the honey seeping from those huge honeycombs. Throbs of pianos, children's cries, the thud of a head banging against the floor, This is the only landscape able to make him feel. He wonders at his brother's skull shaped like an egg. Every day he shoves back his black hair from his brow. Then one day he plants a large load of dynamite and is surprised that afterward everything sprouts up in the explosion. Agape, he observes the clouds and what is hanging in them: globes, penal codes, dead cats floating on their backs, locomotives. They turn in the skeins of white clouds like trash in a puddle, while below on the earth a banner, the color of a romantic rose, flutters, and a long row of military trains crawls on the weed-covered tracks. And a lot of these poems in this book, after the poem, it will say a name of a city, Milno, W-I-L-N-O, Wilno, and this says 1931. Okay, this is called The Song, and it's a little bit longer poem. I've actually I've read these on camera before, but I didn't like the quality of what I was doing, so I decided to do it over. This one is about 3 pages, so we'll just go bit by bit until we get done. Okay. Woman, colon. Earth flows away from the shore where I stand. Her trees and grasses more and more distant shine. Buds of chestnuts, lights of frail birches. I won't see you anymore. With worn out people, you move away. With the sun waving like a cloud, you run toward the night. I am afraid to stay here alone. I have nothing except my body. It glistens in the dark, a star with crossed hands, so that I am scared to look at myself. Earth, do not abandon me. Chorus. This is the chorus. Ice flowed down the rivers, trees sprouted buoyant leaves, plows went through the fields, doves in the forest are cooing, a doe runs in the hills and cries her exalted songs. Tall stemmed flowers are blooming, steam rises from warm gardens. Children throw balls. They dance on the meadow by threesomes. Women wash linen at streamside and fish for the moon. All joy comes from the earth. There is no delight without her. Man is given to the earth. Let him desire no other. Woman, I don't want you. Don't tempt me. Keep flowing, my tranquil sister. Your burning touch on my neck, I still feel it. Nights of love with you bitter as the ash of clouds, and the dawn after them, red, and on the lakes, first turns circling, and such sadness that I could not cry any more. Just keep counting the hours of the morning. Listen to the cold rustle of the high dead poplars. You, God, have mercy on me. From the earth's greedy mouth, deliver me. Cleanse me of her untrue songs. Chorus. The capstans, capstans, the capstans are turning. Fish toss in the nets. Baked bread smell sweetly. Baked breads smell sweetly. Apples roll on the tables. Evenings go down the steps. The steps are live flesh. Everything is begot by the earth. She is without blemish. Heavy ships are yawing. Copper brethren are sailing. Animals sway their backs. Butterflies fall to the sea. Baskets wander at dusk. Dawn lives in the apple tree. Everything is begot by the earth. To her everything will return. Woman, oh, if there were in me one seed without rust, no more than one grain that could purdue, I could sleep in the cradle, leaning by turns, now into darkness, now into the break of day. I would wait quietly till the slow movement ceases and the real shows itself naked suddenly, till a wild flower, a stone in the field stare up with the disk of an unknown new face, when they who live in the lies, like weeds at the bottom of a bay's wash, would only be what pine needles are when one looks above. Through the clouds are a forest, but there is nothing in me, just fear, nothing but the running of dark waves. I am the wind that blows and dies out in dark waters. I am the wind going and not returning, a milkweed pollen on the black meadows of the world. The last voices at the forge on the lake shore, hammer blows. A man bent over fixes a scythe. His head gleams in the flame of the hearth. A resin chip is lit in the hut. Tired plowboys lay their heads on the table. A bowl is already steaming and the crickets sing. Islands are animals falling asleep. In the nest of the lake, they settle down, purring. Above them, a narrow cloud. 1934. And again, that was called, we look at the title, The Song. It's called The Song. All right, folks. I like doing this. Probably going to do 2 shows. His poems are incredibly long, but I think we need to listen to them. We probably have time for 1 or 2 more poems because they're so long. This is called The Gates of the Arsenal. Tender and faithful animals, secretive, very quiet, watch the expanse of the garden, half shutting the slits of their olive eyes. The statues gleaned chestnut leaves for their heads, and with a stone scroll of laws from long ago, or the trace of a sword marched, covered with the laurels of new autumns, to a pond where a paper boat was sailing. Lights grew up from under the ground. A cold glow shone through the striped fur of the animals in their alert repose. Through the cellars of buildings sprinkled with the foam of day, and the wings of trees were flying in the haze. Flame, oh flame, immense musics resound, eternal moment and stirs the groves with their hands tied on gun carriages, horseback under immobile wind or blowing silent flutes. Travelers pass each other, going round and round, showing each other their lips locked by frost, contorted in a scream, or their eyebrows ripped apart by wisdom, the fingers tearing open their breasts shorn of ribbons, medals, braids. A tempestuous noise, the din of waves, the sawing of pianos, Saoughining, sawing of pianos resounds from the abyss. There do the flocks of birches ring the little cloud bells, or herds of goats dip their white beards in the caressing jar of the green gorge, or perhaps the weirs play to the streams in the calm highland valleys, and full carts are passing side by side with the evening, while the stubble dims, laughter and the clatter of steps subside. Your lunar gardens, dominions of forlorn dreams, receive her with a good heart, who comes from the world where all living beauty grows, even if she is miserable, a handful of gathered ash, destined to last no longer than the sun's flight. Take her, never let her summon love. Into a bluish distance of lanes, glitters of courtages, she goes, unaware of the depths of the misty gardens, a young woman, covering her eyes with her hand. The animals turn their muzzles from the lawns, and a bearded keeper trots on his crooked horse, carrying a golden arrow in the taut string of his bow. Gravel under her feet, pacing in false silence, rustles, and a knot of chestnut hair streams from her brow, raising like a small planet. Silver seeps into her lips. Fear bleaches her face. The breast, two icicles now, restlessly heaves. The glare strikes, and touched by light, all that lives, dies. Her dress will fall off in flames. The brush of hair will blaze and reveal her belly like a copper disc. Her thimble thighs no more rule over dreams. Naked and pure, they smoke like auburn Pompeii. If a child is born of the Slavic blood, white-eyed, it will strike its head hard against the steps and sleep with its forelegs up day and night, as a dead horse sleeps amid burned out pastures. Choruses, wreaths, all entangle her. Evening lay shadowy thorns on her brow, and this will be the eternal root of tempests, with a hand pouring grain for hunchback angels, rolling yellow hoops, carrying sailboats loaded with tin soldiers. Boys were returning home. There was a small rain. A bird sang. The moon rose slowly, cut in half by a cloud. With wet eyes, the riders were looking straight west. Tribes of dogs chased each other through the flower beds. Lovers took their seat above the golden steps. There was peace on earth. An orchestra, submerged in the gates of dusk, was falling silent. At the end of a long street, by the box, hedges the mimosas cooled, bowing to the night. And that's Marc, Paris, 1934. Let's go back and see what the name of it is. The Gates of the Arsenal. The Gates of the Arsenal. I'm going to take a little break here reading. I'm trying to read them better, but I don't know if I am reading them better. Okay, we got 8 minutes left. So I want to thank KMBT Television for broadcasting these shows. You're listening to In Our Community, which is a community access level TV station on KMBT and also on YouTube. You can get a hold of me by emailing me at mipc441@gmail. That's MIP as in potato, C as in cucumber, 441@gmail. All right, let me see if I can tell you anything more about Czeslaw Milosz. He's friends with Robert Haas. I've heard him on YouTube. He does great writing. He obviously won the Nobel Prize in 1980 for literature. Great man. I'm going to yawn. Why am I yawning? Boy. All right. Let's try to read another poem. This piece is called Hymn. There is no one between you and me, neither a plant drawing sap from the depths of the earth, not an animal nor a man, not wind walking between the clouds. The most beautiful bodies are like transparent glass. The most beautiful flames like water washing the tired feet of travelers. The greenest trees like lead blooming in the thick of the night. Love is sand swallowed by parched lips. Hatred is a salty jug offered to the thirsty. Roll on, rivers, raise your hands, cities. I, a faithful son of the black earth, shall return to the black earth as if my life had not been, as if my heart, not my blood, not my duration, had created words and songs, but an unknown impersonal voice, only the flapping of waves, only the choir of winds, and the autumnal sway of the tall trees. There is no one between you and me, and to me strength is given. White mountains graze on terrestrial plains. To the sea they go, their watering place, new and new. Suns lean over a valley of a small dark river where I was born. I have no wisdom, no skills, no faith, but I received strength. It tears the world apart. I shall break a heavy wave against its shores, and a young wave will cover my trace. O darkness, tainted by the first glare of the dawn, like a lung taken out of a ripped up beast, you are rocking, you are sinking. How many times I have floated with you, transfixed in the middle of the night, hearing some voice above your horror-stricken church, a cry of grouse, a rustle of the heath, were stalking in you, and two apples shone on the table, or open scissors glittered, and we were alike, apples, scissors, darkness, and I under the same immobile Assyrian, Egyptian, and Roman moon. Seasons come and go, men and women mate. Children in half sleep run their hands across the wall and draw lands from a finger wet with saliva. Forms come and go. What seemed invincible crumbles. But amid the states rising from the sea, amid demolished streets where one day mountains will loom made of a fallen planet against what is past and what is to pass, youth defends itself, austere as the sun dust, in love neither with good nor with evil, all tossed under your immense feet, so that you may crush it, so that you may step on it, so that your breath move the wheel and a frail structure shake with motion, so that you give it hunger and to others wine, salt, and bread. The sound of the horn still is not heard, calling the dispersed, those who lie in the valleys on the frozen ground, yet as yet no rumble of the last cart. There is no one between you and me. Paris, 1935. And that piece again, let me look up the title again here. Takes me a couple of pages. It was called Hymn, Hymn. All right, I'm going to take a little break. We have 2 minutes left, 2 minutes and 41 seconds. That's probably not long enough to do another poem of his. I want to tell you a little bit about KMVT Television. It's a wonderful place. It's a community access station. It's a place where you can come and learn how to have your own television show. And the website is www.kmvt15.org. That's www.kmvt15.org. And I just hope you will check it out. You'll go there, maybe take some classes. You can learn how to do an audio board. You can learn how to direct. A lot of things go on there that are very fun. So I don't have a whole lot more to say, and I know the clock is running out. So rather than say anything more, I think I'll just say goodbye. But I hate to say goodbye now. I don't have a lot more to tell you. Please take care. Thank you so much. You guys are great. You guys are great. Seriously, thank you for listening.